I wish to speak on a legislative matter on which we will be voting later on this evening. I yield myself 10 minutes.
Senator is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm here to say that I want to say that in a few minutes we will be voting on the Child Care and Development Block Grant Reauthorization Bill. I'm here to urge my colleagues to vote for final passage. This bill is authored by myself, working shoulder to shoulder with Senator Richard Burr of North Carolina, under our chair and ranking member, Senator Harkin and Alexander. On this bill, we've showed that we can actually work together to get things done. We've worked across the aisle and across the dome with our counterparts in the House. Madam President, today, we have an opportunity to pass a bill that will actually help American families with one of the biggest challenges they face: affordable child care. Everywhere I go in Maryland, I hear young mothers and not so young mothers and grandmothers and actually dads saying, we need child care that is affordable, accessible, reliable, and safe. This Child Care Development Block Grant will meet those compelling human needs, but it focuses on families of modest needs, parents who want to work or get ready for work by going to school but can't afford child care. I'm going to take a second to talk about the process and where we stand. This is a bipartisan bill. It is the result of more than 2 years of work, 3 hearings on the Help Committee, hundreds of meetings of stakeholders. The House unanimously passed the bill, and last week the Senate voted 96-1 on a cloture vote. It's time now to take the bill over the finish line and vote tonight. This bill began in 1990 when we created the Child Care Program as part of our first step towards welfare reform. Eligible families receive vouchers to pay for child care of their choice, whether it's a large daycare center, a small in-home daycare center, or faith-based. This program is important. Child care, because child care for parents is significantly expensive. Child care is the highest household expenses faced by dual-income families. The average child care for 2 children is about $15,000 a year. In some places, that's tuition at a prep school. $15,000 a year, $20,000 a year. It's expensive whether you are a 2-parent household or a single-parent household. And for middle-class families, it's really tough. And for those earning the minimum wage, it is out of reach. And the costs keep increasing. Last year, the cost of child care actually grew 8 times faster than the average family income. Now, it's not the child care only increased, but of course, you and I believe family income has been stagnant for 8 years. So we've got to do something about raising the income as well as raising child care standards and the ability to provide child care. The child care is important because it helps people in my own state. This bill will give parents the kind of child care vouchers needed, helping 1.5 million children being able to have child care. In my own home state of Maryland, this bill will help families. For as much as 19,000 families get child care. This is really a pretty big deal. In Maryland, child care costs about $13,000 a year. I held roundtables across the state. I sat in classrooms, conference tables, and meetings, listening in Baltimore County, Allegheny County. I heard from parents struggling to pay child care in this age of scrimp and save. I've heard from teachers worried about children not being prepared for a lifetime of learning. I heard from the American Academy of Pediatrics concerned about children staying healthy. I heard from the good folks of the Maryland Family Network who were worried about quality, safety, and the certification of child care. I believe that many of the best ideas and recommendations come from the people. So I brought those ideas to Washington and sat down across the table with my colleague, Senator Richard Burr, to really talk about these issues and how we could hammer out a bill that was affordable to the taxpayer and yet reliable for parents. You know, Madam President, one size doesn't fit all when it comes to our kids. What I heard over and over again were concerns about availability and about quality, and also affordability. My bill, the Mikulski, Burr, Harkin, Alexander, or whatever order we can put them, makes child care better. It makes it safer, it makes it more reliable, and it also focuses on helping children be school ready, to be learning ready. It requires, first of all, in terms of safety, comprehensive background checks. Madam President, are you aware that only 13 states require comprehensive background checks for child care providers? We require more background checks in security guards for malls than we do for our own children. This is unacceptable. Parents deserve peace of mind knowing that their children are safe from anyone who could possibly have a criminal record. Under our bill, 50 states will be required to be able to do this. It also strengthens health and safety standards. Listening to both parents who are concerned and the American Academy of Pediatrics, we will have health and safety standards. Child care providers will be trained in first aid and CPR, prevention of sudden infant death syndrome, and also how to respond to food allergies. This is big. You know, our children come and some of them have those little guys and girls really have some significant health challenges. It also requires inspection of facilities. Currently, many states do not require inspection of all child care facilities. The Washington Post recently found that 43 children have died since 2004 in unregulated child care centers in Virginia. We've now corrected that, where facilities will actually be inspected to make sure that they are safe. It also will make sure that the inspectors will be looking for anything that presents a danger to a child. An unsecured swimming pool, unsafe sleeping arrangements, fire hazards. The other is that it will improve reliability and stability of care. Now, we really focused on improving quality. And what did that mean? We have significant sums. That means that states have to invest in training and professional development of child care workers. It also will evaluate what's working and what isn't. We develop and improve quality rating systems to give parents the consumer information to pick the right bill. Madam President, this bill will provide vouchers to people who are the minimum wage or lower. In my own state, to qualify for this type of voucher subsidy, it is income-based. In Maryland, for a family of 2 to be eligible for the CCDBG, their incomes cannot exceed $24,000. A family of 4 cannot have an income that exceeds $35,700. The children must be less than 13 years old, and the children must live with parents who are working, or enrolled in an education program that is leading to a job. This is really good. But, Madam President, this bill, as good as it is only the first step in child care. It can't be the only step. So while we're looking about how to help parents be able to work, particularly those at the minimum wage level, we have to be able to look also at our middle-class families. That's why I was happy to join Senator Kristen Gillibrand in introducing the Child Care Tax Deduction Bill, Senate 1975. This bill would allow all families to deduct the cost of child care as a business expense. Can you imagine that? To actually be able to do this. So many women in the middle class also find that the cost of child care is so expensive. With this bill, families can deduct up to $14,000 in child care expenses from the amount of taxes they owe. We have to show that we are on the side of families, that we are on the side of the middle class by offering a substantial tax deduction for child care, and we have to show that we are on the side of the people who want to be middle class, who are working hard or going to school to be able to move ahead and move into that middle class, that they have a child care bill. This legislation that we're talking today, however, the Child Care Development Block Grant, will be a significant step forward. I urge my colleagues for really helping in supporting this. When I work on this bill, to me it's not about numbers and statistics, 19,000 or 1 million children or so on. It's about people in my own home state, whether it's the single mom in Baltimore County who, due to some major changes, finding that she was needing to work full-time instead of part-time, but it was barely above the minimum wage. She wondered how was she going to have that job at the minimum wage, but have child care that was safe. When she went to the Department of Social Services, she found a child care subsidy that could help her be able to work today, have her children in daycare today, and lay the groundwork for a better job tomorrow. Or there was Teresa in Prince George's County. She was a single mom. She has 4 children. They were enrolled in a child care program while she worked in another, but she was making $23,000 a year, again below the minimum wage. Thanks to the voucher program, she was able to provide her children in child care, actually work in the field, and begin to get the kind of training that could enable her to move on up to being a child care worker. Madam President, it is about these people who want their child to be safe and secure. They want to make sure that they're going to do the best and be able to continue to work in our society, make sure their children are taken care of, and also we're able to provide this important step. I would hope that we pass this bill tonight, and I would also hope that we develop a comprehensive child care approach. So yes, we're helping those of the minimum wage and slightly above tonight, but we also want to be able to help the middle class. Remember what our goal is. We need to focus on the day-to-day needs of our constituents. What does that mean in terms of national policy? So what we need to look at is for those who are middle class, through their hard work, their education and determination, how they get to be there, and they have a government and a tax code on their side. For those who are trying to get to middle class, that they have an opportunity ladder and these self-help tools that enable to move ahead. Madam President, thank you for your attention, and I really hope my colleagues vote for this bill and we move it to the President's desk for signature.